Welcome back to Soft Talk. Today, let's talk about the recent election of Zohran Mamdani as the mayor of New York. By the way, if you have not subscribed to this channel, I request you to subscribe to it, comment on our presentation, and press that like button. We have been, in fact, trying to promote citizen journalism with more than 500 videos as of now. So your support, your likes, your comments mean quite a lot to us. We are far from corporate feed and corporate greed also, so that makes your support all the more crucial. Now about the program. Let's begin. The question is, will Mamdani's election push the United States for the rightward? I'll be talking about this possibility of Mamdani's election as the mayor of New York, pushing the United States and the world at large for the rightward. So, welcome to the program. A red rag to a bull. A red rag at the very heart of America, the country that dreads the red the most. Akin to sewing a red rag to a bull. How dare they? Well, these were some of the questions that hit my mind while I was watching and reading about the historic election of Zohran Mamdani as the mayor of New York City. That, in a bid to understand the enormity of the development. What does it mean for the big apple of trade and commerce? A cosmopolitan dream for lakhs of immigrants from across the globe, especially from Asia, including a tiny minority from a, a tiny minority community from Nepal, and the target of September 9/11 2001 terror attacks that located at the very heart of an America that has been witnessing a full right tilt under Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the most powerful contemporary American icon of all things anti Muslim, anti immigration, anti socialist, anti diversity, anti inclusion, and anti equity. All right. The thing is, when your present is shaky and the future uncertain, looking far beyond from a seat of a glorious past gives a comic relief. Lived experiences suggest this much. As long as this relief lasts, I wish to cherish it, happy that the sunlight, the air, and a little bit of sky over my house, and all those heavenly objects come tax free in Nepal. Call them all life's precious delights, gifts, whatever you like. Midnight rants and a falsa session. So, when our federal capital was not smoldering, let me show you some of the pictures. When our federal capital was not smoldering, like on the fateful days of September 8 and 9, I made myself comfortable in a falsa. It's a resting place, traditional resting place. It's a Nevari tomb, a Nevari word, and that was built under the mayorship of our very own Balen Saha in Bhotahiti, and I tried to analyze the event that has I'm talking about this uh, Mamdani's election. Uh, I tried to analyze the event that has rocked not only a metropolis located 6,559 nautical miles away, but also the United States as a whole. One sane afternoon, days after his mayorship, woke up a world fast asleep with his midnight tweets. बड़े बड़े शहरों में ऐसी छोटी छोटी बातें होती रहती है. Mind my Hindi, it's not that good, it's not that polished. The pedestrian's translation. This is a borrowed nugget. This is one of those borrowed nuggets, and borrowed nuggets are all that this freelancer I have. And my so-so translation of this nugget of wisdom in Hindi goes: in mega cities, such small things keep happening, don't they? Or do they? Back to that day of that smoldering federal capital, back to that day when the country was in flames, back to those days, in fact. In this bustling metropolis, I was looking for a quiet corner. For what? I was looking for a quiet corner to give one of the two books, How Democracies Die, authors Stephen Ledvinsky and Daniel Giblat, and Cheap War, author Chris Miller. I wanted to give one of these books a cursory reading by sitting on that quiet corner after purchasing them, after purchasing these books in a bookshop in Jamal, Kathmandu, by digging quite deep into my pocket. By the way, should we worry should we worry much over democracies dying throughout the world? I mean, you see, it is in the nature of democracies to die in darkness and in broad daylight, isn't it? Moreover, does a rigged polity featuring the top brass of the three major parties in power for decades on end, does this rigged polity qualify to be called a democracy? I leave that question to the audience. Okay, you analyze. Interestingly, I was in the midst of Why Nations Fail. Authors Darren Ekmoglu and James A. Robinson, when Kathmandu and other parts of the country were in flames, while our Neros were twiddling their thumbs. You see, apparently, when things happening in your milieu are beyond your comprehension, books offer some relief, giving you an opportunity to bury your hand in the sand, even as a costly habit continues to leave your pockets hollowed out. With important developments happening in near and far off shores like New York at a dizzying pace, I do not wish to delve into those books in this space. Sometime later, I will just talk about those books and what I drew from them. Okay, uh, the India-Uganda Express. So let me head to India, Uganda, and the United States, all for free, of course. The sapien we know as Zohran Mamdani is a 34-year-old American, a naturalized American. He was born in Kampala, the capital of Uganda, the country of Idi Amin, if you remember, to parents of Indian origin. Mahmoud Mamdani, a professor of government and anthropology at the Columbia University, and Mira Nair. This name you probably know, many of you, I think, know about, must have heard about this name. Mira Nair is a celebrated filmmaker who focuses mostly on Indian stories. The family moved to the United States when Zohran was 7. This fellow, Zohran Mamdani, graduated from the NYC public school system, attended attended the Bronx High School of Science, and received a bachelor's degree in African Studies from Bowdoin College before becoming a naturalized American in 2018. Prior to representing the 36th district and its neighborhoods of Astoria, Ditmars, Stenway, and Astoria Heights as a state assemblyman, Zohran worked as a foreclosure prevention housing counselor, helping low-income homeowners of colors across Queens fight off eviction, a job that made way for his mayoral race. Then comes the unease over a historic win. Mamdani, a Democratic nominee for the mayorship, enters the political scene of the United States as the youngest mayor of the Big Apple in more than a century. Its first South Asian heritage mayor and Africa born mayor, literally painting the city red with its pro immigrant, pro social security, and pro Palestine image by defeating the fellow Democratic candidate Andrew Cuomo, 67-year-old mayor, the erstwhile mayor, who was anything but red. I was talking about uh, Andrew Mamdani's rise to power. So let's continue with that thread. I lost my script, so let me just search for it. There it goes. Once again, I was talking about this family journey from India, South India, to Uganda, and then to the United States. Unease over a historic win. This fellow has set many a record. He is the first South Asian heritage mayor and African born mayor of New York City. He has painted literally the city red with his pro immigrant, pro social security, and pro Palestine image. He has defeated the veteran Democratic candidate Andrew Cuomo, uh, a 67-year-old candidate who was anything but red. While the mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani continues to take immense pride in his Indian heritage in a cosmopolitan New York with his song and dance clips. which is no music apparently to a Trumpian America. The rightist Indian establishment under Narendra Modi is also not that comfortable with his win. So, on both sides of the divide, the parties that matter the most are not comfortable with Zohran Mamdani's win as the New York mayor. Uh, Narendra Modi appears. The rightist Indian establishment under Narendra Modi appears tone deaf, with high pitched celebrations disrupted by a recent car bomb attack at Lal Killa at the very heart of the national capital, New Delhi, that has left behind a trail of deaths and devastation, dampening a massive victory of the ruling BJP led National Democratic Alliance in Bihar State Assembly elections. Between his election as the mayor elect of New York City on November 4 and the assumption of office as its 111th mayor on January 1 next year, that is, what will happen? A lot of a Ganga will flow down the Hudson by that time, because it's like global events taking place at a dizzying pace, and so much has changed since his election as the 111th mayor of that big apple, the New York City. And there is this unease that the Indian establishment under Modi has been exhibiting over his election as the mayor of New York City. By the time by the new mayor takes over, I imagine that that will be by January 1st next year. He will assume office as the 111th mayor of New York City. New York, by the way, is also a state, and New York City is the capital of that state. It's a business hub, it's a cosmopolitan heaven, but like there have been like since uh, the September 9/11 2001 attacks, for a couple of years there was a growing anti-Asian sentiment there, growing anti-immigrant sentiment in that metropolis. But between this election on November 4 as the mayor, as Mamdani's election as the 111th mayor of New York City on November 4 and January 1st, 2026, a Ganga will have flown down the Hudson and the Bagmati numerous times as the globe continues to spin, as I told you earlier, at a dizzying pace. Now let's talk about the animus. What does it mean for us? What does it mean for the world? Okay, that there is no love lost between President Trump and Mamdani is public knowledge. They have met, by the way, of late. Donald Trump hosted Mamdani at his office in New York recently. They talked over about a lot of things there during that meeting. It was a courtesy call on the part of Zohran Mamdani. Uh, Prior to that mayoral election, Trump had threatened to restrict federal funds for NYC, that is the New York City, if Democratic candidate Mamdani won the race, won the mayoral race. Okay, it was like he was so unaccommodative at that time. But they seem to be making peace of late, like they have like understood, I guess, the need to work together for the betterment of New York City and the United States as a whole. Pragmatic politics prevailing now, I think. Okay, after the win, Trump has told Mamdani to be nice to him. In the wake of Mamdani's Turn the Volume Up Donald Trump speech, you may have listened to that speech. And these vibes, what do they point? They point toward a tough fight between a liberal mayor and a right wing president in the coming days. For those living on the floodplains and watching a turbulent flow with considerable alarm, a key question will continue to hang like the sword of Damocles. Will the United States under Trump and the world at large tilt further right with this election in particular setting off alarm bells? Will this lead, will this election, will it lead to, what will it mean for us? What will it mean for our country? New York, by the way, and America in general is home to like a whole lot of Nepali, small Nepali population, and in recent days, uh, the United States has evicted thousands of Nepalese from across the length and the breadth of America. So, what does it mean for us as a nation? That is a crucial question for our policymakers to delve into. Will this election, will this rightward tilt of the United States lead to the eviction of more Nepali immigrants from the Big Apple and beyond? Apparently, as they say in Hindi, as I said earlier, borrowed nuggets are what I have. And let me just uh, quote one more nugget of wisdom in Hindi. Picture abhi baki hai mein. Please bear with my Hindi. It's not that much polished, I guess. The translation again, the pedestrian's so-so translation of this nugget is the movie is yet to reach the end, my friend. So keep watching and reading the tea leaves. With this remark, I wrap up this edition of Soft Talk. I thank you for watching and listening to this presentation. Thank you.